Mama, very good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning.
Great. I have a couple of.
It's a Friday.
Yeah, we all do. Fridays are awesome. Only when it gets to Sunday evenings that you know that.
But I'll be more excited or most excited next week because that's when we get to be paid. Last week.
Don't worry. Work to pay yourself all the time one day. I hope that comes to fruition. Then we have some of your messages. Good morning, Roland and Mama. We thank God we're not voting on. We are voting on December 7. It's a good decision and I support it. Nana all the way, and that's from Felix Apa BA in Kasim or in Kasim. And then so where were the rest of the parliamentarians? Were they absent or on sick leave? And that's from Achim Museum, one Alhaji Al Hassan Habib Dadi. Wallahi. And then we have this one also. Good morning. Why MPP didn't raise these concerns during the time they invited the EC but waited for the consideration stage? They should give us a break and stop wasting taxpayers' money. NDC voted against what they think they needed more time. NDC voted against. Okay, MPP voted against because they thought they needed more time to put finishing touches or tactics to whatever incompetent and corrupt projects they were doing. Okay, you're talking about the NDC from Aaron Tingda for Atiteti Anglo and Roland and Mamavi. It's only the NDC who have kept all its corrupt ministers at the Flags House, and you have named certain names I can't mention. Ghanaians have value for money under this clueless. Can Ghanaians have value for money under this clueless and chop government? Muhammad must go Nana Beba in 2016, and that from Bogolo. All right. We can now look at some of the newspapers.
Yeah, we'll read a lot more of your messages, but let's look at the newspapers. And I've got the Daily Graphic newspaper. Banner headline, Parliament shuts down November 7. Voting day remains December 7. Mixed reactions from political parties. And we've got the majority and minority leaders on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Roland, it's like for once in a very long time, the minority, and this is like the only time in this parliament maybe that the minority.
And it's also because this one is a constitutional amendment.
Yeah,
that's right.
2/3.
Yeah, for many
shouldn't we be doing 2/3 on a lot of things that have been in parliament?
For example, I think we have a precedent in Ghana during the Liman administration, and many of his expenditure in the budget in itself were shut down.
Yeah.
It affected, actually some political scientists believe it also contributed to his government being toppled.
Well, let's look at the other stories on the front page.
It's not always
the Daily Graphic. It's not always good.
Yeah.
But in times like this, I mean, what happened yesterday?
We're not tolerant like maybe in the more consolidated democracies. So you can't build consensus across board on many of the issues that you think is salient.
I think what hurts me personally with what happened yesterday in Parliament is the fact that the two sides still couldn't agree on, because if you say that the EC needs more time, the majority is not with you on that. So even though this is Parliament taking a decision in terms of the voting patterns and the various beliefs, it was still more like NPP and DC, and I didn't quite like that. I thought this is a constitutional stuff.
The point is that if you look at the composition of Parliament, it will ultimately come to that very point. Because when it reaches the decision point, the minority are the minority, and they largely come from the MPP.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
The majority largely comes from the NDC.
I get it, but on something like this, we should.
Yes, perhaps we needed to bridge a lot more of the consensus, but we shouldn't also forget that many of the factors in the environment also influence the decision of the minority or the MPP in Parliament, so to speak, because they had raised issues with the Electoral Commission, the Commissioner itself, the process leading up to the election. We had a lot more court cases, not necessarily involving an MPP member, but the whole agitation in itself and the position that the party had taken outside Parliament. And I believe that it just put things in perspective as to how they felt before going to agree or not, or to be part of that very 2/3.
Ultimately, we hope that this is the best decision for the country. Other stories on the front page in the Daily Graphic. 1 million voters verified so far, according to the EC, but turnout still low. Blay Amehia calls for national dialogue on social media. And there will be a special supplement on ICGC's Greater Works in Monday's issue. So you better watch out for that in the graphic back page. Delivery of 1,000 trucks for distribution of products in the country, and can see the trucks, some of them in the graphic newspaper of today. Roland, you know the EC is also publishing names of those that the Commission has deleted from the voters register. And today we've got the Volta region and the Eastern region. So if you're in any of these regions, Feta, Ketu South, North, Akachi South, and North Noctong Municipal, Pando Municipal, North and South Valley. You can watch out in the Daily Graphic if your name is part of that deletion lists. Roland.
So we have front page of the Daily Guide. It says MPs reject November 7. Election still December 7. We also have scrap trainee allowances for nurses restored. Can you imagine? So for teachers, I think we should reinstate for the teachers too.
They will.
But why do you say that this is in the first place? Whoever is watching. We'll come back and review this. We haven't finished. We have to take a break. When we come back, then we'll bring you a lot more of the stories. Well, so it is what it is. We have to continue with the Daily Guide, and we have GES hot over SHS shut down and scrap training allowances restored. And this story I wanted to look at before we took the break. And well, it says government has finally succumbed to pressure by training nurses to restore their cancelled allowances. A statement signed by the Minister of Health, Alessa Befia, indicated that a technical committee set up by the President to review the issue of nursing students' allowances has recommended the payment of an abated allowance with the possibility to migrate them onto the student loan scheme. So why didn't we set up a committee in the first place to look at how it will affect them, and so whether I recommend for it to be scrapped or not? Well, if there was a committee, I don't know that. But this is what it is. It says, with this, each student nurse is expected to receive an amount of 150 Ghana cedis a month, far less than the previous allowance, we're told. Daily Guide sources said the decision was taken at a cabinet meeting on Wednesday, as the opposition New Patriotic Party has promised to restore not only the allowances of the students and nurses, but also those of teacher trainees if voted into power in this year's election. Okay, I remember. Government decision, according to sources, was occasioned by intelligence reports and Bureau of National Investigation opinion poll, which tipped the MPP presidential candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as a likely winner of the 2016 presidential poll. Okay. All right.
You're through?
Center spread. No.
All right. Your favorite place?
Yes. News 1. It says, I don't do politics. And it talks about Amachi Dede firing back. And legend of high life music Abranti Amachi Dede has expressed worry over recent discussions in the media linking him to partisan politics. I woke up in the morning and all the newspaper reviews are saying I have declared my support for the New Patriotic Party simply because I performed on stage during the party's rally at Agogo. Well, you've endorsed
he comes from Agogo.
Oh, Chairman.
That's his town.
Oh, Chairman.
So does it mean Roland? Because I was thinking about this. Does it mean?
But why is he afraid?
Hang on.
He's a big musician. Whether he endorses
but if he hasn't endorsed, you can't push it on him. But listen to me.
But he appeared on the platform.
Can't I be paid to MC?
Yes.
Say Nana Addo is coming, or Mahama is coming to Kokomlemle.
If you do that, you are MPP.
And I MC the.
If you do that, you are NDC.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If it's at a private party, and then the thing
if it's a private party,
it's a private party, the pictures don't get to social media. You're fine. But Ghana.
I mean, like, I'm doing my professional work.
Yeah, that reminds me, live your life. All right.
No, but Roman, this is serious, because if Amachi Dede is a big performer, and if he's been paid to perform at a ceremony, or
the other time I was telling you, we were doing this very discussion about how parties win, and for example MPP won everything about NDC. NDC has won everything by MPP. So you get to find out for all the good people we have in both the NDC and NPP, by the time each or either of them is in power, we make the nation lose the wealth or the social capital we get out of those people. Their vast knowledge, if they've been in government for 8 years or let's say 60 years, etc., we lose that vast knowledge, and we have to appoint new people. They now have to get a grip of the system, and while they are getting a grip or learning the system, they are governing foolishly. Do you understand? Once we've left the experienced people at the back bench on the back
only
burner.
Because they are not one of our own.
That's right. But in the United States and the United Kingdom, they don't do that. They make use they make use of Jimmy Carter or somebody else, even when his party is not in power.
So this is essentially the same thing.
It's the same thing. So, for example,
because of what we have done.
Look, I mean, genuinely, before 2008, we all loved Kobna. Before 2012, we all loved him. But now Kobna is where?
We still love him.
Well, we do love him, but I'm talking about the generality of the people and how the kind of consciousness we have in our body politic has permeated the various sectional life that we live.
But I can understand the Kobna situation.
No, it shouldn't be.
He has declared. Hang on, Amachidede has not made any declaration.
So he appeared on the platform.
I'm not saying. He performed on the stage. Does it make him MPP or does it make him
It's
Nanado?
about perception. And I'm not saying yes, it's very sad. We shouldn't I'm not saying that I'm endorsing this, but I'm saying
that's sad. You're saying what the reality is.
Yes.
I'm just saying what the ideal situation should be until I've opened my mouth to say that I am for JM just because I go and open a show.
Because genuinely, I can tell you, if you appear on an NDC platform, whether it is you have a certain talent of MCing, etc. Not everybody can do that, and you appear on a platform of the NDC in which you did it maybe because the president said, "I'm paying you 2,000, come and do it." The MPP will say you're NDC. If you did it for Nanado, the NDC will say, "Oh, Mama, you are MPP." I mean, we have to be realistic about that. It's a shame, but that's how it happens. But you know, sometimes we are concerned about politics, etc. How about this? I prayed for big breasts. You know, sometimes we have to shy away from the politics.
Oh, yeah, and there's this lady, have to pray for a lot of things. So
yeah, and there's this lady, I don't really know her well, but First Lady of Entertainment on Urban Radio, Vanessa Jan, you know her?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Has disclosed that she wanted
Jan's daughter.
Oh, and literally prayed for big boobs when she was growing up. Okay, so I heard she wanted to do liposuction or something like that. Liposuction.
Wait, but doesn't that suck the fat out of you? Does that give you?
Yeah, you suck it. When it's sagging, you suck it out. Then you put silicone before you seal it. You kind of you suck it out. Oh, as a movie.
When people are praying for God to give them better things, you are praying for big boobs. Let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper quickly. Demo rocks IGP in Ho in a mock exercise against social media shutdown. You can't close down schools. GS cautions Chas and 11,000 security personnel to police this year's election. Dangote Cement imports 1,000 trucks for cement distribution. November 7 polls date shut down. That will be it for the front page headlines in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Roland?
Front page of the Daily Dispatch. Dispatch vindicated again on MPP blocking November 7 election date. And it brings you what they said it predicted, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, but as for this one, dear, a lot of people predicted. I remember...
why are you blasting?
I am not. I mean, but everybody knew they had already said that they were not going to go with it. And if you need 2/3, then it means that you definitely needed the minority to be on your side, and we knew they were not going to be. Yesterday was like just a confirmation of what everybody else knew. The Weekend Finder newspaper, paternity case takes dramatic turn. Reverend Father absconds, leaving behind a year-old baby without a name, begging with twins to appease the spirits. That's another story on the front page of the Weekend Finder. That story is on page 11. I'm a bit curious, just a little bit for you, and then we'll move on quickly. And Akwesi Danko is on standby with sports. The story says that children are a blessing from God, and it is the dream of every parent to have them. Even more exciting to most parents is when they give birth to twins. Parties are usually organized for family and friends to feast, celebrate and thank God for such blessings. However, in some parts of northern Ghana, having twins does not always come with such excitement and thanksgiving. The twins are often believed to be a curse. So this is more like a feature you can continue to read, but I tell you what, just the stories, I mean, some parts west. Some parts of the northern,
if you have
northern
twins.
region, if you have twins, is more like a curse. So you find the pictures are telling stories of twins begging with their mostly mothers in the paper, but it's a full piece. I encourage you to get the paper and read the stories in detail. That's it for the weekend final. Let me do the chronicles straight away. How Cape Coast celebrated the stamping of Kotoko. MPs, is it Popo November? Popo November, is that it? Poo-poo. November dates.
The poo-pooed it.
Oh, really? Really, is it the same like PP it's?
Yeah. Like poo-poo. And I ain't cancel.
No, you can't be here. Mahama to
that was
no.
Vernacular translation.
No, then go to bedroom.
You know, that's why they say the local station sometimes there's operations there.
Bahama beats retreat.
You read this one. MP's what?
No, nothing.
MP's poo-pooed.
Roland, you're distracted. Wild West endorses Bahama's nominee for DCE. Ex-soldiers besiege courts. These are some of the stories in the Chronicle, and really that will be it for the newspapers. It's up to you to go to the newsstands and grab the papers. But Akwesi Dankwa is on standby.
Yes, yeah? Akwesi Dankwa is on standby. We have to take a break and then we'll have a lot more sports. Do stay on.